there, the channel is called We Africa. You must make sure you subscribe to this channel so that every time we release a video, you will be informed. Make sure you subscribe and get seriously involved in the conversation. Seriously get engaged in the conversation we have on this channel. Every time we are dissecting political issues, we are dissecting economic issues, we are dissecting social issues, we want you to get involved so that you get enlightened. I really feel that SADC is the greatest obstacle to democracy in Eswatini. Every time they come to Swaziland, they seem to rubber stamp, they seem to indemnify, they seem to justify whatever the king is doing there, and they encourage him. He feels encouraged because this is SADC, the greatest organization in Southern Africa, and every time they come there, they leave without even reprimanding him. This time Ramaphosa came in person in his capacity as SADC chair for Troika and Politics, Defense and Security, and left pro-democracy leaders wondering whether he even visited Eswatini, and that if he did, what could have been the nature and purpose of his visit. They were kept in the dark about the visit, maybe because it didn't concern them. Only the king's word and opinion mattered under the circumstances. But why? Why would the king's word be the only one that mattered? And yet we know that the pro-democracy leaders are also supposed to be treated as equals. My assumption and presumption is that Ramaphosa was trying to put pressure on the king to have dialogue with his subjects now without delay, because the violence is still continuing. The violence being perpetrated there in the rural areas by soldiers who are beating people and maiming them and leaving them with a lot of injuries, and the violence is continuing non-stop. We can only assume that the king refused this proposal or this proposition and insisted that he will follow the constitution and have the Inkwala first and will give everyone audience on Isibali. One thing is clear though, that he doesn't take his people seriously and he has no respect for SADC. The king is making his position clear that nothing will move him, not even SADC or even the president of SA, whatever his position might be in SADC. The king is just demonstrating how stubborn and obstinate he can be. To him, the battle lines are drawn already and he is ready to give as much as he gets. This is not the kind of king who is positioning himself to make concessions and compromises. He is positioning himself to fight. In spite of his obstinance, the toothless SADC just nods to everything he says and gently pats him on the back. First, with a king like this, the opposition needs to plan and strategize and go on the offensive, because the king has just realized the best form of defense is that attack. The soldiers are attacking people in the rural areas at an unprecedented scale. It's shocking. The king is busy planting fear in the hearts and minds of innocent people. And it is very clear, and the people, the pro-democracy groupings here in Eswatini should know that they are again on their own. I once warned that you are, as far as SADC is concerned, you are on your own. They came, they didn't give you audience, and the most important, the chair of SADC Troika came to your country. You were not even aware of it, and you were not even consulted. So I'm trying to appeal to you to understand that you are on your own. As far as SADC is concerned, really, they are just games that you are playing, and maybe in most cases, these games are going to weaken you, because you are supposed to be peaceful when SADC comes here. Place your hopes on the fact that maybe SADC is going to do some serious mediation and some serious arbitration, and yet every time they come, they go back without doing any arbitration. They meet each party separately, which is what is confusing to me. Just listen to the king who is not willing to even move or change anything. So you are on your own. You need to get together. The first thing that you need to do is to get together and then mobilize and strategize and go on the offensive. You have to start attacking. If you fail to attack, really, this is the end of you. You want, if those demonstrations, because the king is saying that he can only talk to you when you are peaceful. He is trying to take away from you the only bargaining chip that you have, that is demonstrations. The demonstrations, a person can only negotiate with you, or seriously negotiate, can get to the table with you if you are demonstrating and rioting in the streets. If you are not rioting in the streets, if you are not demonstrating, then what bargaining power do you have? You have no power to bargain with the king. You can't just go and talk to the king peacefully like you are talking to someone who is normal, because your king is not normal. He's not a normal king. That king is obsessed with power, and he will not leave that power peacefully by mere talking and conversation and dialoguing over a table. He wants to be put under a lot of pressure, and only demonstrations, only riots and a lot of pressure. You need to put a lot of pressure on him from every angle, squeeze him from every corner of his body. I mean, literally, if you happen to meet him physically, you will have to squeeze him very, very hard. Only then can you really understand what you're saying. That's the language that you will understand, not the language of having Ramaphosa coming and then having some dinner, Ramaphosa having some fresh air from the pressure he's having from his election there. He ran down to your country to have some fresh air, and then he goes back and pretends to have come there to really mediate. What new position did Ramaphosa bring the king to by his coming here? The position still remains the same. The king still remains unswayed and unmoved, remains stiff and rigid without changing anything.
Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says King Mswati will have a dialogue with all sectors of society once the violence ends and COVID-19 is over.
We are ready to engage, but it is important to note that any engagement must be in an environment of calm, It must be in an environment of peace.
The government says it will continue to restrict access to social media and ban protests it sees as a security threat
He's not changed
in order
his
to
position.
restore the
Ramaphosa,
peace.
with all his with his influence, with all his power, what did he manage to do? So what was the purpose of his visit? There's no purpose, and if you wait for this, SADC is just going to ruin you. SADC will weaken you, not make you stronger, and it will bring nothing. And SADC is not going to bring anything to you. Please, you must unite and start really go on the offensive. If you fail to do that, you are failing a lot of people. A lot of people are getting beaten in the rural areas. They are being injured. Their shops are being destroyed. Their houses are being destroyed. And they are banking on you as leaders to really organize and make sure that you organize things that will really work in the end. And parents here, they're in the rural areas, they are refusing to sign those consent forms which really oblige them to make sure that their children, when they go back to school, they won't be involved in riots. They are refusing to sign them, something that is not easy for parents to do because usually they are very scared. They are really playing their part. They refuse to sign those consent forms. And you leaders really need to wake up and start doing something in order to complement what the parents are doing. Thank you so much. This is We Africa. Let us share. Please place your comments there and subscribe to this channel. And also, please, you must give this video a thumbs up if you think it's worth your thumbs up. Thank you so much.